what's going to end up happening is a pretty simple situation. FCC is going to say, well, FirstNet Authority, how do you feel about the contract? Do you guys need this additional spectrum? Right? It's a very, by the way, this is not a conversation between carrier to carrier and carrier to FCC auction. This is government entity talking to another government entity.
Correct.
That's the thing that people forget all the time.
It's agency to agency.
Exactly.
Or I should say agency to commission.
Great.
I'm about to say, wait a minute.
They're FCC, so the commission, right, is talking to the FirstNet Authority, right? And they're asking, the FirstNet Authority is asking the FCC, we need more spectrum from a first responder situation.
Prove it. Open up the books. Show the data. That's what Verizon asked for, right?
Here's the thing. Hold up. Let me address this. The only people that have the authority to open up the books, quote unquote, is the FirstNet Authority asking AT&T. And by the way, FirstNet Authority has all this data all the time. They literally have people designated FirstNet Authority tracking all this stuff.
All right, well then it should be public knowledge and public information anyway. So it shouldn't take that much to just open it up.
But here's the thing, right? There's some of that data, right, could be because here's the thing. The only data that they could actually talk about is the data that is coming from band 14. Because that is federal spectrum, federal funded build out. Everything outside of that is completely off limits because that's competitive intelligence that is not FirstNet dedicated spectrum. Do we all agree?
Yes, you're distinguishing commercial from FirstNet.
Correct. We all agree on that, right? The only data that could be public knowledge.
Anything broadcasted from band 14.
Right. Is band 14 traffic data, anything related to band 14. Outside of band 14, absolutely off limits. That's competitive.
Well, that's what Verizon said. They want to see the band 14 usage.
But see, here's the
in
thing.
order to be able to substantiate that it's that additional spectrum.
Verizon does not have the authority to deem that an investigation. Only FirstNet
all they can do
authority,
is request. All they can do is request, which is what it says in the article. They put in a request.
They put in a request, but guess what? I'm more than likely it's going to get denied because guess what? FirstNet Authority, if FirstNet Authority is saying to FCC that yes, we need this, FirstNet needs this, how are you going to say that? I'm telling you, it's like it doesn't.
Yeah, but it
sense.
is quite possible, Moose, that Verizon planted a seed in the FCC in their minds that maybe we should ask about this. Maybe we should have FirstNet prove that they require an additional swath of bandwidth.
I mean, I'm trying to figure out why you don't even have all of the public sector traffic. All of it's not on FirstNet. Verizon owns a significant swath as far as servicing those particular customers as well.
They just passed 6 million connections this week.
Congratulations, that's great. But outside of that, that's still not every public sector customer in the country.
But hold up.
So with that being said, why wouldn't you want to open up those books and say this is the reason why we need it?
So okay, here's the thing, right? This takes multiple years, multiple cycles. Okay, there are some customers that are still on Verizon because they had long-term contracts that it's very expensive for the agency to get rid of that contract, right? Even if Verizon or FirstNet was to pay that, there would still be a significant staging and kitting and a whole year-long process to get tens of thousands, if not 50,000 in the case of, I mean, Jesus Christ, NYPD is a perfect example. We're talking about over 100,000, boots on the ground, right? It's probably even more, maybe, right? So there are multiple agencies, yes, that are still on Verizon, but are they going to be on Verizon forever? No. Why? Because it is.
You're saying eventually they have to get on FirstNet.
Exactly.
Exactly. I just got out of my Verizon contract this year for that reason. Actually.
How do we know that all of the traffic that's currently being served by FirstNet is going to stay on FirstNet? There have been government agencies that have defected and went to Verizon because FirstNet hasn't worked as well. So I mean, nobody's bound to either company.
Unless
At
the
the end of the day,
contract,
if you want the
is exclusive.
yeah, like if you listen, if you want the spectrum, open up the books and prove why you need it. That should be a simple request, especially if we're talking about government funded assets that are paid for by tax dollars. Why wouldn't you open that up and make that public knowledge for everybody to see and consume? Why would
Moose,
that be secret?
Moose, think about it like this, right? Currently, AT&T is ready to push a bunch of new traffic on SA 5G, right? Every iPhone since the iPhone 12 has N79. You are going to essentially start broadcasting a 50 megahertz channel of super clean, high-powered bandwidth. Their network is about to be the most supercharged 5G network, literally out of nowhere, seemingly, if they were to get this 50 megahertz of N79. Think about it, bro.
Couple
50
caveats.
megahertz. That is an additional 700 megabits per second.
So
700, Moose.
Couple things, right? Are the cell sites immediately going to be able to be upgraded?
Every 10
Right.
gig circuit, is ready to go.
So wait, hold on. Right. So is Ericsson prepared for a 4.9
Most
antenna
definitely.
and radio?
Most
Yes,
definitely.
they are.
Yes, they are. And by the way, they've been ready. They've been ready since 2021.
AT&T's 3 steps ahead on this. I already know.
Exactly.
Yep.
AT&T has already requested every single cell site that has band 14 will get the N79 antenna and radio combo.
So, Moose, is Verizon wasting their time?
I think
they are.
Verizon is doing the necessary thing for their shareholders and for their situation called, the lobbying and all that
Their
stuff, right?
stakeholders, yes, correct.
Right. But ultimately, it's going to be futile because, again, this is a public safety dedicated, potentially HPUE midband, which we've never seen a HPUE midband.
We've only seen it with low band.
We've only seen it with low band. Potentially HPUE. So that same cell site will be able to go double the distance of a C-band antenna and radio. That's what I'm thinking.
It'll be the first government agency issued channel with massive MIMO radio gear.
Yes.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
That's going to be insane. But
this is why I understand Verizon's position. I know why they're fighting this. This is huge. This is if AT&T lands this,
remember,
who the hell's going to stop AT&T?